Hi there, my name is Doug, and if you've met my wife Laurel, you know we have a large family. I came home from work one day when we had four girls, and one of the little girls was waiting for me inside the door with a long, sad face. And I said, "What's wrong, dear?" And she says, "Oh, Daddy, I need a spanking." And I said, "What's gone wrong? What's happened?" And she told me some minor little infraction, but she was terribly burdened with guilt. So we had a little plastic shoehorn we used as a spanking stick. I gave her a little tap in the bum, and she bursts into tears for about 10 seconds. And then she stops, cracks a big smile, and skips away without a care in the world. And I'm the one who feels rotten. It was in that moment I understood what happens on Good Friday when our guilt is transferred to the Son and his righteousness is transferred to us. In 2 Corinthians 5, verse 21, it says, "For our sake he made him to be sin who knew no sin, so that in him we might become the righteousness of God." Now, my little daughter, it was a minor thing. I could have said to her, "Oh, dear, it's nothing. Don't worry about it." But that would have done nothing to relieve her of the burden of guilt and shame. We live in a world of unresolved guilt. Sin and guilt disrupts relationships between one another and between ourselves and God. The world tried to deal with this by telling us, "Oh, we're okay, you're okay, I'm okay, we're all okay. Nobody has done anything wrong. Don't worry about it." But our hearts know better. So many of us live with unresolved guilt, shame, fear of discovery, and all of the negative things that flow out of that. Paul understood this when he was writing to the churches. In 2 Corinthians 5, verse 20, in the second half of the verse, he says, "We implore you on behalf of Christ, be reconciled to God." So how do we become reconciled to God? It's in the word confession. Confession is a key component of reconciliation. It's also a key component in prayer. Pastor Ryan's been teaching on prayer the last number of weeks. As we approach God, confessing our sin, confessing what we've done wrong, confessing what we have made a mess of is so vital to the restoration of that relationship with God and with one another, and most importantly, with ourselves. All effective prayer involves an element of confession. Because after 35 years as a pastor, I've discovered something. We're all a mess, no exceptions, pastors included. A preacher once said to me, "A man who has confessed has nothing left to fear." And I say, there's truth in that. 1 John 1, verse 9, "If we confess our sins, he," that's Jesus, "is faithful and just to forgive us our sins and to cleanse us from all unrighteousness." And this is what's taking place on Good Friday. It's not just us being negative about things that have happened in our life, but it's us availing ourselves of that mechanism that God put in place when Jesus died on the cross. He took our sin upon himself and gave to us his righteousness. Often the hardest person to forgive is ourselves. The devil's always whispering in our ear, telling us all the stuff he's done wrong. And, it's effective because he's right. I have done all of those things. But he wants us to hide in shame and fear and guilt. And he just hates it when you go, "Devil, you're right. I did those things." But there they are, nailed on the cross. I bear the shame no more. One of the things I've found effective in my life and in the lives of so many people, other people, when they're dealing with something that they just can't seem to get past, write it on a piece of paper, fold it over. If you have a cross handy, tree, a pole, and just nail it. Nail the confession to the tree as a reminder that what was true about me has been paid for and no longer defines my life. So, Ephesians chapter 2 says, "And you were dead in the trespasses and sins in which you once walked, following the course of this world, following the prince of the power of the air, the spirit that is now at work in the sons of disobedience, among whom we all once lived in the passions of our flesh, carrying out the desires of the body and the mind, and were by nature children of wrath like the rest of mankind." This is the part I have underlined in my Bible. But God, being rich in mercy, because of the great love with which he loved us, even when we were dead in our trespasses, made us alive together with Christ. By grace you've been saved. Good Friday is good because of what happened there has set us free from the power of sin. And being set free from the power of sin now sets us up for the next step, to experience the fullness of the freedom from the power of death. It may be Friday, but Sunday's coming. Thank you.